Good afternoon to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we are in the last class, we are discussing about the control area concept, that is under low frequency control. And there we have discussed that what is the model of a speed governor, then turbine, then the generator, load, okay, and then how they are interconnected. So those things we have actually discussed in the last class. Now we'll discuss the flat frequency control. So what do you mean by the flat frequency control? Now, flat frequency control, it is basically, we'll first discuss this thing and then I will tell you. A modern power system can be divided into several areas for low frequency control. Each control area fulfills the following. First point is the area is geographically contiguous portion of a large interconnected area which adjusts its own generation to accommodate load changes with its prediction. Okay. And then second is under normal condition of operation, it exchanges bulk power with the neighboring areas. Third point is under abnormal conditions of operation, it may deviate from predetermined schedules and provide assistance to any neighboring control area in the system. It is expected in addition to partake with the other areas in the system in a suitable manner in the system frequency regulation. So up to this point, I will discuss first. See, let us say we have understood that what is the meaning of the control area. So control area means there are, let us say, area means there are some geographical region. Let us say these are some geographical area, okay, where let us say the loads are there. The consumers are present, okay. This is area 1, area 2, this is let us say area 3, and this is let us say area 4. And each area we have some generators. There are some generators as well as some loads. Okay, each area we have some loads and we have some generations. So that is there. Okay, already each area we have this type of configuration. Now these areas, they are connected through. So this is, let us say, the interconnection. So what is this? These lines I have drawn. Anyone can tell what is this? These lines. What signifies this? Please tell me, what is this? Anyone? When these two areas are interconnected, through which medium or what is that particular thing which actually interconnects two areas? Any guess from your side? Anyone? These are, what should be the possible equipment or element? This should be transmission line. This should be transmission line. Okay, these are all transmission lines. Okay, so that means the areas are interconnected through lossy transmission lines. Now, what will happen when these areas are interconnected through these lossy transmission lines? Now, each area, they are supposed to cater the load of their own area. So each area should cater its own connected load. The surplus power will be transferred to neighboring areas. So that means, let us say in here, the area 1, it has, let us say, 200 megawatt generation capacity. And it has the connected load is 150 megawatt. For example, the load is 150, generation is 200 megawatt. So there is a surplus power of 50 megawatt. So this 50 megawatt power, it will transfer from area 1 to area 2, or maybe area 1 to area 4. Maybe here, let us say 30 megawatt will be transferred, 20 megawatt will be this way, or total 50 megawatt will be transferred here, or total 50 megawatt will be transferred here. Okay, so depending upon the condition. So we can understand that if, let us say, there are multiple areas are connected through these lossy transmission lines, so then the individual generator of that particular area should cater the load of its own area, and the surplus load will be shared with the neighboring areas. Okay. So this is the basic concept of this flat frequency control. Now, the rotors of all generators in a control area swing together for load changes. Thus, a coherent group of generators within a geographical region may constitute a control area which is connected to other similar areas by weak tie lines. So that means if there is any changes on any of these generator, so generator means there will be, because those generators, they are connected together, okay, in a particular area, and their frequency will remain same. So if there is any change in the load on a particular area, what will happen? The frequency of that area will be affected. So the generators which are connected with that particular area will also get affected. So that means they will be actually operating in a coherent group, means together in a synchronism. They will be operating in a synchronism. Okay. And if there is any change in one of the generator, that will be affected in other generators also. So this flat frequency control, is it clear? Any doubt on this? What is the meaning of this flat frequency control? Anyone has any doubt? Flat frequency control? Any doubt? Please tell me, any doubt? Hello?
No, sir.
Fine. So please respond. Otherwise, I cannot understand whether you are following or not. Next is the real power balance for load changes. Okay. Now, what is the real power balance? Basically, that is the real power balance is the change in generation minus change in load. So change in minus change in generation will ultimately affect your system frequency. So how it will affect, we'll see that. So it has already been mentioned that when an imbalance occurs between real power generation and load demand, the frequency deviation takes place. So we know that if there is any change between the generation and the demand, okay, so obviously, for example, let us say now the total generation of a particular area is 200 megawatt, for example, and the load is also 200 megawatt. So there will not be any problem on the system frequency. Frequency at this moment is 50 hertz. Now suddenly the load has been, it is increased. Load has been increased from 200 megawatt to 300 megawatt. Okay. Now the generation has to increase. So this delta PG, now the delta PG has to increase, because delta PG minus delta PD, this should be equal to 0. If this is not equal to 0, so what will happen? The system frequency will ultimately, there will be change in the system frequency. So if the generation is more than the demand, whether the frequency will rise or frequency will fall. Who can tell? I have told you this thing. If the generation is more than the demand, so the frequency will increase or frequency will decrease?
Decrease.
No, frequency will, in that case, see, generation is more, frequency is less. Generation is more, frequency is less. So in that case, what will happen? That you have the surplus generation. So you have the surplus generation. So in that case, the frequency will increase. Okay. Similarly, if the generation is less, the demand is more. So demand more means it is a heavy thing. Okay. Let us say load is more. So the frequency will fall. Frequency will fall. So this you have to remember. If the generation is more than the demand, then what will happen? The frequency will rise. Similarly, if the generation is less than the demand, so the frequency will fall. This is the basically the thumb rule. Now consider a single area operating in a steady state and let it undergo a step changes delta PD in a load demand, assuming that the generation changes by an amount delta PG following the load changes due to the governor action. The following imbalance is delta PG minus delta PD. So if there is any change in the load, let us say delta PD is the change, the generation has been increased from delta, that is the delta PG. So the net imbalance it has been, that is basically delta PG minus delta PD. So there are three possible modes in which this power can be absorbed. First is for positive power imbalance. Positive power imbalance means the delta PG minus delta PD, this is greater than 0. That is a positive imbalance. Now the negative imbalance means delta PG minus delta PD is less than 0. So this is the meaning of that. So that means if it is a positive imbalance, so what will happen? Your generation is more, load is less. So what will happen? The frequency will rise or frequency will fall? Frequency will rise or fall? Frequency? I think this you are not actually understanding this particular part. So if let us say the change in generation is delta PG and change in load is delta PD. So if this is greater than delta PD, so what will happen? The frequency will increase or frequency will fall?
Increase.
What will happen?
Increase.
Frequency will increase, correct. So similarly, if delta PG is less than delta PD, so the frequency will fall. So this is the basically, in short, the thing will happen. Now let us say that there is a positive power imbalance. Positive power imbalance means the delta PG minus delta PD is greater than 0. So there will be three possible cases. First is the number one is that the area kinetic energy increases. That is the kinetic energy of all the generator rotors in the area increases. So first thing is that you have the more stored energy. Generation is more means what will happen? That stored energy will be actually the energy stored in the rotor. The energy will be stored in the rotor. Second, the load demand increases due to the load characteristic. That is the second case. Third case is the power outflow from the area to other interconnected area increases if such interconnection exists. So there are three possibilities where you have the positive power imbalance. There is an increase in the kinetic energy. Second is there is an increase in the load demand. And third case is if there is your tie line is connected, so the power outflow from one area to other area, it also gets increased. So now next is the analysis of the single area power system. Okay, that is a single area power system. So we need to analyze that. What should be the analysis? Okay, so this diagram, are you familiar with this diagram? Yes or no? First you tell me. In the last class I have drawn it. Yes or no? This is your speed governor block, KSG by 1 plus TSG, that is the governor block. Then this is your turbine block. So there the notation was something different. In the previous class I have used that notation was different. But here actually the diagram is set. So KT by 1 plus STT. This is the turbine block, turbine transformer. And this is your power system block, KPS by 1 plus STPS. And here you see that was delta PG minus delta PD to KPS by 1 plus STPS and delta FS. 1 by R was the feedback. And this is actually delta PCS. That is the change in the speed governor, speed changer setting. Okay. Now we need to do the analysis for this particular block diagram. Okay. And here you have the load, that is load is always negative. So load is always negative means this is delta PDS. Okay. This is your delta PTS equal to delta PGS. That means this is your turbine power output. So turbine, I told you that turbine power output will be the input to your generator. So the input to the generator and the turbine output power, this should be equal. Okay, so this is your delta PGS. Now for the steady state analysis, there are two important incremental inputs. So what are the incremental inputs here? First is your delta PCS. This is one input, and delta PDS. This is your load. This is another input. Now, can anyone tell what is the output in this block? Anyone can tell what is the output here?
Delta FS.
Delta FS is the output. Correct. This is your output. So that means our objective is we want to see what is the deviation in the system frequency. That is the objective of the load frequency control. We want to see that what is the change in the frequency, and the input. In this case, there are two inputs. One is your delta PC, that is your speed changer setting, and second case is your change in your load demand. So these are the basically your two inputs. Okay. Now let us consider a simple situation which the speed changer has a fixed setting. So now we are assuming this is equal to 0. See, when we have a two input, so we'll apply the superposition. If you can remember your block diagram reduction technique in control system 1. So there you have studied that if there are two inputs, so in that case we cannot take two inputs together. Okay, we have to take these two inputs one by one. Okay, so first we'll make this particular term equal to 0, and we'll see that the input only this delta PDS will be there, and we'll see that what is the delta FS. We'll calculate delta FS. In the second case, we'll take this delta PDS will be equal to 0, and we'll see if there is the input is delta PCS, then what is the response of this delta FS. So there are two-step operation we are supposed to do. I will write here, then it is clear, otherwise it will not be clear. So first case, that is the case 1, will make delta PCS, this is equal to 0, and we have the input is your delta PDS, and your output will be the first case, this will be delta FS. Now in case 2, delta PDS, this should be equal to 0, input is delta PCS, and output is delta FS. So finally we'll see that how to do the analysis. Is it clear that what are the different cases? Two cases are clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this delta PCS equal to 0, this particular operation, it is known as the free governor operation. This is very, very important. What do you mean by the free governor operation? Free governor operation is when delta PCS equal to 0, when we are analyzing the frequency response of a single area power system, that time we are actually, the input is your delta PDS and the output is delta FS. So we want to observe what is the change in frequency with respect to the change in load. So for such an operation, the steady state change in the frequency for starting change in load demand. So here what we are assuming that this delta PDS, this is equal to, there is a step change in load. So delta PDS, this is basically your change in load. Now this change in load, what is the input? Input is your step change. So when you are taking the Laplace of that step change, this becomes delta PD by S. So this should be very clear. This should be very clear because this delta PDS, this is equal to your, there is a step change in load. So load pattern, it is kind of a step change. So this is your delta PD. So that means, and this is your T. So finally, if you take the Laplace of this particular thing, this becomes delta PD by S. So your input is delta PD by S. Now, what we'll do now? So you see, this is equal to 0. Delta PCS equal to 0. So this comparator has no value, because if there is no two input is there, if there is let us say one input is only present, then why we should use this comparator? Comparator has no use. So in that case, there will be only negative feedback will come. So this negative feedback is -1 by R, and the remaining things will be same. So now I will draw this block diagram. Now I will draw this block diagram, and I will show you that how it looks, means how it will be. Okay. So just a minute. Now here you see so I think this is okay. Okay, so this is your first block. What was the first block? Anyone can tell? What was the first block?
Speed governor.
Correct. This is speed governor. Then we have the turbine. We have the turbine. This is your KT by 1 plus STT. Then we have our power system block. This is your plus, and you have a negative input. This is your delta PDS, that is your load. And then you have this is your KPS. Sir, I'm taking one class, so I will call you maybe after 5 minutes. Okay, so 1 plus STPS. This is your delta FS, and then this is the feedback. So now here you can see I told you that there was a comparator. So there was a comparator. This was your delta PCS. Okay, and now this is equal to 0. So this is equal to 0 means this comparator has no value. Okay, and there was a negative input here. So we have this 1 by R. We have 1 by R, but when we are removing this block, let us say we are removing this block. So what has to be done? When we are removing this thing, so this will be removed. This block has no value because this input is 0. The input is 0. So this will be your -1 by R. This is your -1 by R. And then now this block diagram is clear how I have drawn it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now your input is your delta PDS. You see this is your input, and your output is delta FS. Now we'll do the block diagram reduction. How we'll do this? So this is your, there is an input comparator. So this is your negative input. Negative means delta PDS, and you have, this is your KPS by 1 plus STPS. 1 plus STPS, and this is your delta FS. Now here we have the feedback. So what is this? These are all are in cascade. These 3 blocks, this block, this block, and this block, they are in cascade. So finally what will happen? We have a feedback path. So this is your KSG into KT divided by 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R with negative, because this R is there, and then it is in this is your input. This will be your plus. This step is clear. This step is,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now if you have the negative input, what will be the transfer function? Who can tell? If this is your GS and this is your HS. So your CS by RS equal to what? If you have GS and this is minus, this is your HS. Let us say this is your GS and this is your HS. So what will be the, how will you write? If let us say this is your negative input.
GS by 1 plus GSHS.
But you have the negative now.
Oh, GS by 1 minus GSHS.
It is something different here. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, it is the minus will come here. Here the minus will come. Okay, here will be it is minus and here will be also minus. How it is, I will show you. I will show you. Okay, I will show you. So finally, this will be minus GS by 1 minus GSH. This is the formula actually. Yes or no? This is the formula. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what we'll do? We have a transfer function reduction. So what we'll do now? So this is your CS by RS. What is CS? CS in this case is delta FS. And RS is what? This is delta PDS. So what is your CS in this case? Yeah, sorry, GS. GS is your KPS by 1 plus STPS. So this is your KPS by 1 plus STPS. And this is minus will be there. 1 minus. And you see 1 minus, this minus and this minus becomes plus. 1 minus GS into HS. So what will happen? This into this. So this becomes plus. So this will be KPS into KSG into KT divided by 1 plus STPS into 1 plus S into TSG into 1 plus S into TT into 1 by R, because R was there. Okay, this is clear. This is clear. Okay or not?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll do the simplification. So this is equal to minus KPS by 1 plus STPS. Please, if you follow this derivation may not be given in the book. Okay. So 1 plus STPS into 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R plus KPS into KSG into KT. Now you have divided by, whole divided by 1 plus STPS into 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R. So now you see this will cancel. So finally we have minus KPS. Now this will be in the numerator. This term will be in the numerator. 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R divided by, this will be 1 plus STPS into 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R plus KPS into KSG into KT. This is clear? Any doubt on any steps? Any doubt? In this slide, any doubt anywhere in this derivation? Hello? Any doubt? Please tell me. Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. So now let us say this delta PDS equal to, I told you, there is a step change in load. This is delta PD by S. So now here what we'll do, this is delta Fs. This will be multiplied by this. So this is delta PD by S. Okay. So now we'll basically calculate this. I am removing. Okay. Or because it will be easy here if I use the same slide so that you can understand. Okay. Now let us say, so the steady state error, delta F steady state, this is equal to, what is steady state error? That is the basic definition. Limit S tends to 0, S into delta Fs. So this is the basic definition of the steady state error. Okay, I think you have studied this thing in control system also. So now what we'll do, we'll substitute this thing. This is limit S tends to 0, S into delta Fs. Now you see this S and this S both will cancel. Okay. So what will happen? This is minus KPS into 1 plus S TSG into, I'm writing this term. I'm substituting this one. 1 plus STT into R into delta PD divided by, so there is a S is there. This S is coming here. Okay. Then 1 plus STPS into 1 plus STSG into 1 plus STT into R plus KPS into KSG into KT into 1 by S. So what will happen? This S and this S will cancel. I need to remove something, otherwise you cannot understand. Okay. So now let us substitute the limit S tends to 0. So this will be 0, this will be 0. Okay. So what will happen in the numerator? This will be minus KPS. This is 1, this is 1. This will be R into delta PD divided by, this will be 0, this will be 0, because we are substituting the limit. So here what we'll get? This will be R, because this is 1, 1, 1 into R. This will be R plus KPS into KSG into KT. Now we need to understand that this KSG into KT, this is your speed governor gain constant and this is the turbine gain constant. This product is almost equal to 1. This is the assumption, or practically this is proved. Practically the data is such that the product of these two is equal to 1. Now I will just complete this derivation. Okay. So this is equal to minus kps into r into delta pt divided by r plus this ksg into kt. This is equal to 1. So it is kps. Now let us say we are dividing this numerator and denominator by r into kps. What will happen? This will be minus delta pd, and this is r into kps means this will be 1 by kps because r will cancel, and this will be 1 by r. Okay, so 1 by kps plus 1 by r. Now we'll see this is the your steady state error. Okay, so you see this is the derivation. Okay, what we have done actually. So finally we are getting this is 1 by kps, this is equal to b. Okay, this 1 by kps 1 or b kps equal to 1 by b. Okay, so finally we'll see, we'll just conclude that thing. So that means this is equal to, we can write this is minus delta pd and 1 by kps is b. So this is the final delta f steady state. Okay, so sometimes this expression it is, sorry, this is the final derivation. Okay, final expression minus delta pd by b plus 1 by r. Okay, and that's what it is derived here. So if you plot the curve, that is the percentage change in the frequency versus percentage change in load, this is basically your droop characteristic. It is the frequencies drooping in nature. It is a negative straight line. Okay, negative straight line, and the slope of this particular straight line is minus 1 by b plus 1 by r. Okay, and b is very, very less, and this value is neglected. So that's why this is equal to minus r. Up to this point is clear? Any doubt? Is there any doubt on this derivation, whatever we have derived? Is it clear? The steady state error with respect to one input, I have not derived the second input. Second input I will discuss in next class. Is it clear till whatever we derivation for the first case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you have just put your attendance. I will share that thing. You have got your all class notes for the
Yes, sir.
upcoming internal test. Okay. Okay, all of you please put your attendance. So syllabus for your first internal test, fault analysis and economic operation of power system. These are the two chapters from my portion. Okay, and Anil sir has also told you your syllabus. Anil sir told you, na? From his portion. Yes or no? Please tell me. You know your syllabus for the other part? Hello? Are you familiar with your syllabus for the first internal? Yes or no? Please tell me, because next week you have the internal. You know your syllabus, na? Hello. Do you know your syllabus? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please respond it quickly. I am asking repeatedly. Okay, fine. So you have given your attendance, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we'll meet tomorrow again. Okay. Stop share this thing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.